Hello, this is On Imagination with the Healing Garden, and welcome to the Queen's Journals. I am having a very solemn day where it's just chill, and I've been doing a lot of research on value, profit, resources, and it's been. I don't do my podcast for any other reason than to journal my own progress. This is for me. It's always been for me. And there are people who want to know how I do it. There are people who want to hire me to mentor them on how to do it. So I am doing this for me, and I am doing it for my clients. Everyone else can pretty much piss off. So when I see people commenting about too much promo, well, you're in the wrong place, bottom line. And the first time somebody commented about that, I did a whole step back. I thought about it. I analyzed it. I internalized it. I knew I internalized it. And then I sat back and I went, they're neither a paying customer, nor are they in my network. So why do I give a fuck what they say? And it was basically somebody who stepped into my podcast to take from it without anything. And it was a reminder to myself why I'm doing this. And it's not to entertain people. It's not your usual podcast. Literally, it's not your usual podcast. It's literally just my journal. And the people who step into this space, who are looking to educate and grow themselves, and who are looking for resources that actually address the problems they have, many of them want to know how to get in touch with me. Many of them want to know what I offer. So I give them that. I am not in the entertainment business. I am in the educational business. And yeah, I'm not for your entertainment. So the reason why all of this matters is because when you are dealing with value, it's really interesting because it's reverse psychology. It's the ultimate form of psychological manipulation is reverse psychology. Our society and abusers use reverse psychology on us so that we can't recognize what's being done to us. And the number one reverse psychology that they give us is people should not be used for their value. And ironically, that is exactly what they're doing. So we grow up with this concept that people have no value, that you shouldn't trade with people who are friends and family, that you shouldn't do business with friends and family, that the concept of value and a person is immoral, that money is bad. And there is so much saturation. And I realized when I was getting ready to lay out the next stepping stones in my journey, and I did, and I have, and that's where I am now. And I laid them all out, and I went, son of a bitch, every person does have value. This is what self-worth is. Your worth is literally what your resources are. So you have your worth, and you have your value, and you have your resources. This is what a narcissist does not want you to know. This is what no employer wants you to know. Employers do not want you to know this. Abusers do not want you to know this. Narcissists do not want you to know this, because the minute you figure this shit out, they have no power over you. This is their power. Value equals power. When you value their opinion, you are giving them power. When you stop valuing their opinion, you take away their power. Value equals power. Your worth is what your resources are. These are the formulas, people. Your worth equals what your resources are. Now, we are conditioned by our beautiful society that hates us that the only resource that we have available is money. And either you have it or you don't. And that's bullshit. We are basically conditioned so that our RAS, reticulated, oh, I hate this word. Let me look it up. La 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 la. Reticular activating system. The reticular activating system is the part of your brain that filters and highlights opportunity, trauma, abuse, and good things. It depends on how you have it programmed. So if you focus, and this is how the RAS works, whatever you focus on is going to equal what you see. It's literally the subconscious mind's filter. When you do positive affirmations, you are conditioning your RAS to see something different. So there's opportunity all over the place, but if your RAS is not conditioned properly, it's not going to see the opportunity. So it misses opportunity because it's been conditioned to not see them. If you see only abuse, then your RAS is going to be conditioned to only see trauma and abuse. That's one of the things we work on in psychology is we condition the RAS so that it doesn't see that anymore. So your worth, your RAS has been conditioned to not see your resources. It's literally a blinder or a filter so that you can't see it. So that's pretty much what's going on is you've got all of these resources, but because of your abuse, you've been conditioned to not see your resources. Likewise, what you value has power. I'm going to really emphasize the word you here because your value, what you value, is literally what you assign power to. So if you value a person's opinion, it gives them power. If you value a person's or your opinion, it gives you power. So we are in a situation where you are first blinded by what your worth is. You cannot see your resources. You are valuing the opinions of really toxic, abusive people who you trust. And those people who you trust, and this is really it. This is where the worth, value, trust comes in. You want clients? This is how to get them. And this is it. It's basically this triangle of trust, value, and worth. Trust is literally value. It's a reliability. So you value, and that's the power. And the trust is the process of putting value on someone. If you don't trust them, then the whole thing crumbles. So you have to have trust, you have to have value for the people you trust, and you have to have worth. So, and that's basically your inventory or your resources. So once you understand trust, value, and your worth, you can define what your worth is. And by valuing your worth, by valuing your opinion, it now puts all the power on you. And then being careful to trust people, making sure that you are basically trust is access. It is access to you. So that the more you trust somebody, the more accessible they are to you. So if you trust somebody who isn't trustworthy, you've opened up the door to allow them into you. It's literally the door, it's the access. Once you stop trusting somebody, you close the door and you deny them access. And in order to determine if you should trust somebody, you need to look at their integrity. The formula for integrity is this. It is literally how they make you feel, how they align to your ethics, if they validate and or support what you love, and how do they behave. and then accumulate all of that. You're going to have your conclusion, and then you're going to have the words that come out of their stupid mouth. And if their words match your conclusion, they have great integrity. If their words don't match what your conclusion is, that's a problem. They're not good people. Throw them away. Don't give them access. But we're not taught this. We're taught to value their words and put power into their words before we've even confirmed that they have the integrity of earning our trust. We are prioritizing and literally valuing their words over our own trust. And that's how you let a narcissist in. That's how you let an abuser in. And then they start chipping away and putting you in a position where you feel like you have no resources. You need the narcissist or else you'll have no resources. Our entire culture, all of our relationships are built off of who has the resources and where can you get your resources. And if you have no resources, suddenly all of your decisions are going to be based off of, okay, I have no resources. I need to take care of myself. Because I can't take care of myself, I have to go find somebody who can. Now we're entering into relationships with people who have no integrity, people who don't trust, and we're forming bonds with those people, and we are giving them power over us through valuing their words because we think it's a resource exchange of, oh, they're going to take care of me because I sure as hell can't take care of myself. So the whole thing crumbles and breaks down. And now you've got a slave situation. Now you've got a narcissist empath situation. Now you've got a parent using or controlling the child situation. It's all because we are not aware of or seeing value in our worth, and we are prioritizing the value of other people over our own opinion so that we're putting power into them. But if they're a toxic, abusive person who uses you, it's a losing game. And then people get stuck in that cycle for decades, for lifetimes, because they don't see their resources. But the narcissist designs the entire thing set up so that your Raz doesn't see your resources. Take your inventory. Take your inventory. I have some exercises available. Yeah, I'm promoting. I have some exercises available with my clients where they can go in and they can complete exercises. And it shows them, take an inventory. These are your resources. That way they can see. And the first thing they all say is, oh my God, that's a resource? Yeah, that's a resource. Oh my God. And suddenly, boom, there's the flood. And they write down 20 more things every time. And they're like, oh my God, these are resources? I thought money was just the resource. No, because you can take those resources and then convert them into getting money because these are resources. So yeah, we are conditioned to not see our resources. Our parents, our husbands, our partners, our spouses ensure that we can't see our resources. And as soon as you figure this out, you have no value for a narcissist. You're with a narcissist because you value the narcissist. You're with somebody because you value what they can do for you or what they can give you. So you feel like you can survive. This is all a survival game. And it's this very, very solid belief that we have no resources. No one is teaching anybody what your resources are and how to utilize them into a network so you can actually enter into a money-making network. And that is all I do. Like, that is it. That is all I teach people, is how to locate your resources, identify all of your resources, and plug it in. But the mental health always gets involved because you've got trauma. So we start with your mental health. We restructure your mental health, and then we plug you into your resources, and then we plug you into the network, and then we get you set up in a business. So it's almost like a pentagram at this point. It's not even a, what's it called? It's not even a triad anymore. It's not a triangle anymore. It's a 5-point system. So first we build up your mental health, and then we get up your resources. And then we plug you into the exchange and the network for trade and bartering. And then we get you set up on business. And then we get you set up on growth. And that is it. It's very much a 5-point system. And we take you through all of that and plug you right through. It's all done for you. And we do it literally removing 100% of the obstacles are gone. It's 100% problem solving, so you can list all the problems. I did this like 3 or 4 years ago with somebody where they went through a list of problems, and I remember at that time I couldn't solve any of their problems for them because I had limited resources. I had a closed network. And then I realized, "Oh, I just need to open up, expand, and plug into an open network." So once you plug into your open network, you're able to get the fluid going, and then it circulates through. And the way this whole thing is, this is the other problem that I had was I was going, okay, so business is over here, romantic partner is over here, and my and the self is over here. So it was the self, and then it was the romantic partner and the family, and then it was, yeah, my private life, and then it was a business. And I realized literally this last week that it's all the same thing. We have this thing in our head that tells us that it needs to be separated, and it's not. The network is your family, it's your kin. And the business is the transactions that you do with your family and your kin. The mental health is actually the self, like stabilizing the self and getting your closed network go up and running. And then your resources is understanding your inventory and being able to track and trade your inventory through a bartering system with your closed network and then later with your open network. And it's a very different way of thinking because we live in a poor, POR, preservation of resources mindset. And that's really it, is you've got the preservation of resources mindset, that's Wonderland. And then you've got this Analand. You've got Analand. So I've got like this network now that's built up and it's all nourishing and it's starting to rotate and it's beautiful because it's definitely starting to mesh and move and it's starting to the engine is finally going on it. So now it's just taking people and plugging them in, going, okay, I've got this network. Before, for the last year, it's been, I'm building this thing. Now it's built. Now I can say, look, I've got this thing I've built. And it's literally a self operating network. And this is the healing engine. It is a self operating network engine that provides you with resources, network, and mental health. And I'm sitting here, I'm now going over manifestation and the physics of manifestation, which I have figured out, and I will go over the physics of manifestation later. But it's pure, it's basically you need to know that you're a battery. You are a battery. You need to believe that you're a battery. If the battery doesn't believe it's a battery, it's not going to act like a battery. That's it. So once you know you are a battery and you know that your beliefs produce the energy, then you literally can maneuver and push the other energy, but you got to believe you're a battery. And then it's literally using your own energy to push and pull, and basically it's attraction, laws of magnetism from physics that allows you to push and pull on the energy around you because you know that your belief system literally generates its own energy. So once you know what kind of energy to push and pull and move, you can literally use your battery operated energy to pretty much just manipulate and guide whatever you need. But it's literally like, imagine you're in a bathtub and you want the water to flow towards you. You've got to use your magnetic energy to push it one direction to get the result. It's the equal and opposite reaction. Every action results in an equal and opposite reaction. Like, this is so physics, it's disgusting. Between emotional physics, and that's it, is there's emotional and then there's psychological physics. And then that is basically, yeah, that is where manifestation comes from. It's all physics. So once you have the comprehension of the physics and how it all moves, how energy moves, it's a completely different game. But so where I am now is I am in the present moment where I've got my fire built, I've got the engine, and the engine is now generating and it's going. And I'm like, all right. So now I'm looking for family members. I'm literally looking for my kin. It's like I've got this clan and I'm looking for clan members. And that's it. Look, I'm looking for my kin, I'm looking for my clan members. And these are doers and givers. And these are people who are looking to plug into the system. And there's 3 ways you can plug into my network. So I am now getting my generator up and running and I'm propelling it forward. And yeah, it's getting it started and getting it plugged in. And then I realized with my little itty bitty, basically it's communicating. Yeah, so I have the communication. So it's the communication. And then it's making sure I'm communicating to the right people. And it's basically like a scouting that I'm doing. And that's it, is it's a scouting program. I'm scouting for the right people. And the methods of scouting is what's been a problem, is breaking it down is okay, now it's communication, it's making sure you're looking for the right people, and then it's scouting it out. And when it comes to communication, there's the overall announcement. There's the town crier method. And I think this is what I needed to break down, is what are the methods of communicating? There is the paper parade, where you just throw a bunch of announcements all over. That's advertising and marketing. So there's the overall announcement. There's the town crier method, where you walk around and you hear ye. And then there's the paper parade, where you throw paper all over the place. And I think that's really it over and over again, is that's really it. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Overall announcement, the town crier method, the paper parade. There's word of mouth. I'm going to brainstorm this. Overall announcement, town crier method, word of mouth. And that's it, really, is word of mouth is basically, yeah. And then there's the networking, like passing it through the networking. And word of mouth is really networking. That's really what it is. And this is what a lot of people don't understand. Yeah, it's the word of mouth is the networking. And then there is the podcasting, which is equivalent to the town crier method. And then the public speaking, that's the town crier method. Then the marketing and advertising, paid advertising, that is the paper method, the paper parade. Yeah, so now we're talking about visibility. Now we're talking about making sure the message is right where it needs to be, and then getting it in front of the right people. But you can't get it in front of the right people. Like, who is this for? This is making a lot more sense. This is really breaking it down. So, what's going on is when you decide you want to build a business, you go in and people will tell you, you gotta do paid advertising, or you got, and it's, I don't believe in that method. What I believe is these are all the options available. What you're really doing, and this is what I'm doing, is I'm reverse engineering business now. And what it is you are literally building a fire. And if you want to do a business, you are literally building a fire. The first stage of building a fire is taking an inventory of your resources. What do you have available to you? And there is a book called What Color is Your Parachute, which is a great book to start with. So I recommend starting with that book. What color is your parachute? And that tells you what your resources are and what line of business, what business you should be building. So that really hones it in. And then the second part of all of this is basically, and this is your business plan. This is when you build the fire. Now, you're not lighting it on fire, you're just building it. So when you build a fire, you can do a log cabin, you can do the teepee. There's several different things you can set up for your fire. I always do the log cabin. And that's your business plan, that's your strategy, and that's getting together all of your tools and then putting it all together. Once you have that all set up, and that's set up, if you do not have a clear picture, it could take up to years. It could take literally 2 to 3 years. And the reason why it's taking so long is because people are not precise with this. So then the third thing that people look at is igniting the spark. Igniting the spark is the hardest part of all of this, because you're literally trying to get a single spark enough to generate heat and getting it. And the heat, by the way, is the money. Heat is the money. That is the goal. Okay. It's the money. But you have to do all of this work before you can even use the fire to warm yourself. So you need to ignite the spark. Igniting the spark is basically the communication in front of the right people and scouting. And this is what people are not breaking down for you. And then in communication, this is where they're like, oh, well, you need a messaging. You need to do a brand. You need, but they're missing the big picture. You need to break it down to some people need to see even more of it. They need to understand the theory. And instead, it's like well, just do this, just do this. And there's a lot of people going, yeah, but why? So then you want to ignite the spark. And to do that, you are literally you're looking for your people. So you want to communicate to the right people. And you basically have to become a scout, like a talent scout. And your job is literally just scouting out for people, like recruiting. It's recruitment. That's what this is. You are doing recruitment. So now the question is, how do you want to do recruitment? You can do overall announcement. You can do crier town method. You can do paper parade. You can do word of mouth and networking and some platforms. You can also use platforms to convey your messaging. So this is the other part, is how do you get your message out there? The platforms is podcasting, public speaking, ad campaigns. From other platforms that you can use is, you can do a book, but again, you need a platform. And if you don't have a platform, so that the way we talk, and it's interesting because in the world of publication, we call it something completely different. But when you step out of book publication, this all goes away and people are confused. In the world of book publication, it's called a platform. It's an author's platform. So that when you sell a book, you stand up there and you can say, hey guys, I wrote a book. And all the people who want to buy your book will come to you on your platform and be ready to buy your book. But you need an author platform to do this. It's where the author speaks. It's the stage so that you can say, hey, this is the announcement. But when you get outside of an author platform, honestly, the book publication world has this figured out. No other business has this figured out. The only one that has it figured out is book publication world. They get it. And they'll tell you, you really need your author platform. You really need your author platform. And in order to get your author platform, you need all of these tools. You need the town crier method. Now you're looking at scouting. Now you're looking at bringing people in and accumulating people. So if I were to think of this book or as my business as an actual book that I'm selling, instead of it being a service or a remedy, instead of I look at it as it being a book, and now booking is this is what I do. If you want to look at it instead as what type of a book are you selling? What is the brand of the book? What is the title of the book? Are you a multi-genre author? This is like a whole nother world. Now you can be a multi-genre author. And I did this with my business. I had people going, well, you have to sell only the fantasy and I'm going, no. I am looking for Anna Imagination fans. I am looking for Anna fans. My brand is Anna. I'm the brand. Now, Anna sells books, and Anna does fantasy, and Anna does dystopian and psychology and philosophy. You had to be an Anna fan to come into my world. And then once I did that, it brought me a whole different type of people. Suddenly I was literally working with a whole different type of people and it wasn't like well, I'm just here for the fantasy books. They were there for me. So wherever I went, they followed. This is author platform building. And this is what every business needs. The thing is, we're not teaching it to anyone except book people, except authors. And this is the problem. So you go on the podcast and you talk about your book. You go into public speaking and you talk about your book. You go into ad space and you talk about your book. But we're not thinking like that. We're just following this cookie come monkey plan of let's just monkey see, monkey do. This person told me to do this, but I don't know why. I'm just going to do it. And that is where people are sinking thousands, millions into their careers without having an idea what they're actually doing. You need to build a platform so that when you speak, people listen. So that's it. That's really what you are selling. You are selling tickets to your audience. That is what you are selling. You are accumulating an audience. Now this is my world. Now I know what I'm doing. So you are actually building a stage, and you are presenting on the stage, and you are accumulating your audience. And you are wanting people in the audience who are there for you. not your brand, not your name, not your message. You are the message. It's the energy, it's the enthusiasm, it's the person they're there for. This is where they fuck you all up. Then, after you get your communication in your front of the right people and your scouting, now you're going to get the spark. Now it sparks. When I finally was ready to start charging money at Brain to Books, I made thousands in the first month without any thought of it because I had my platform stabled and I was able to just do. So after you ignite the spark, the next thing you want to do is stabilize the fire. Stabilization is dire. This is the most critical part because if you don't stabilize, you'll lose the spark and you'll get right back to number 3. So you really need to ignite the spark and then stabilize it. This is a high nurturing point of your business. Yeah, I am officially going to be included. By the way, when you get into my Triad of Killing, this is included. This is people who say, this is why I'm a dream ambassador, is because they say, this is where I am and I want X. Well, let's get you there. And I know exactly how to get you there. And it's literally boom, 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 boom. And this is one fraction of it. So you want to get stabilized. You need to do some high nurturing at this point for the stabilizing. Once it's stable, the next stage is growing it. And this is the growth. This is when you make your fire bigger. And then once you get it to the right size, this is what you call throwing on the log. Throw another log on the fire. That's it. And this is the part, it's when it's stable and it's growing. This right here, between 4 and 5 stages, that's when you can sit back and actually enjoy the money. That's when the money comes in. That's when you get the fire and the heat. That right there. Oh, yes, this is now logical. And then you just throw another log on the fire. And you're doing almost no work because the fire is generating its own energy. There you go. There you are. Done. And then this is the idea of, oh, I want to build another fire over here. So then you can transfer, and instead of starting this thing from a spark, you just grab a log, you ignite it, and you transfer it. Done. You also have to learn how to bank the coals. And that's what I'm going to call it, is banking the coals. So this is my 7-part business plan to get you from making no money to making money. That's it. That's it. All right, I feel better. All right, I have my outline. I have my comprehension. But in order to do all of this, you have to be able to take an inventory. You have to understand self-worth. You have to understand value. And you have to understand trade and barter and the emotional exchange system of gifting. You have to understand all of that. That way, this will actually take hold and flourish. I feel better. All right. So I got the they of I all figured out now. When you have a family with yourself and your partner, and you have a child born into this kind of a system, it's equivalent to you taking a log and igniting the log and just passing it on to the child. Ideally, that's what you're looking at, what kind of a lifestyle you're looking at. But what's Wonderland? That's not what's going on. So this is just the blueprint of, all right, I know what I'm doing now with my business. I have a plan. I have to build a platform. Now that I know how to do. That I know how to do. All right. Thank you so much. May the kindest of words always find you.